Sports Cars Live.
Hey, what's going on, FD? Good to be here.
I'm going to drop a couple bombs on the FD channel right now.
Who are you rolling with?
I am rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
We are rolling with FD.
Because I'm Carlos on What's the Play. Thank you, sir. Hey, Nick, you got to let me know who you rolling with.
I'm rolling with FD.
Hey, Tony and Oz, who you rolling with? Then y'all.
Oh, you know we rolling with FD, baby.
Hey, Renee, who you rolling with?
Rolling with FD.
We're going to bring in Justin.
Hey, FD.
How you doing, bro?
I'm well.
Who you
I'm
rolling
rolling with FD.
So go, Bird.
I'm rolling with FD.
You got to let people know who you rolling with.
I'm rolling with FD.
You got to let the people know who you rolling with.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
We got you on the line.
You guys, oh my goodness, we're both on the line.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mike.
What's still?
Love what you collect.
Hello.
Wait, I have that same card.
Oh, let's get a picture of this together. See, Blaz, who you rolling with?
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
That's how you just rolling, right? That's the whole thing, right? You roll with it.
You gotta let me know who you rolling.
We're rolling with FD. You heard it first.
I'm not just a pretty face, baby. Hey, Matt.
Rolling with FD.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing out there? This is March 20th, 6:02 p.m. If you see me looking to my right, we got Dallas playing Memphis going on just to catch up on what's happening in that game. But I'm very excited here to have Jeremy from Reckless Cars, and we got Manny being Manny in the house. Let me bring him in. Two Thicc podcasts. What's going on?
What's good? What's good?
Not much. Jeremy, where are you at right now?
I am in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I appreciate you showing love to the Mavs and everybody else, but the Bulls and 76ers are locked in it with a few minutes left in the fourth, so I need my Bulls to pull through.
I wish I had it on here. That would be nice.
No one's
who's winning that game? What's the score of that game?
80-78, Bulls are up by 2 with 5.5 minutes left.
Let's just jump into talking about what's up with the Chicago Bulls.
Man, since the addition of Patrick Beverley, man, they're like one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the NBA. 7-4, top 5 or 6 in offense, top 5 or 6 in defense. They're playing much better.
Is he plugging what Alonzo was doing last year?
Yeah, and he's a vocal on-court leader, which this team lacks. There's a big notion that they're all too friendly and buddy. And sometimes you need somebody to be the adult in the room and put a boot in an ass and get people moving in the direction they need to go. You need a little bit of fire, and he's provided that. And so he's all over the place defensively. He's telling people where he need to be, and he's quietly shooting 40% from 3, which the Bulls absolutely struggle to knock down the 3 ball. So it's been a better quality of basketball, and it's nice having a leader out there that's holding the offense and defense accountable.
What's crazy is Patrick Beverley in high school used to go head-to-head against Derrick Rose, and he averaged 30-something points a game.
Yes.
He could shoot the basketball. He could score. People look at him and think, oh, no, he can't. But becoming a spot-up shooter is definitely something that he's capable of, and the Bulls allow him to do that. But do you think the Bulls can win with Zach LaVine, or does he have to ride outside?
That they can win with Zach LaVine. I think DeMar leaving is going to be a addition by subtraction. If you look at how efficient since the All-Star break Zach's been, now that the knee is healthy, he has been absolutely incredible to watch. His on-ball defense has been it's so underrated. And I'm highly critical. Maybe about a year ago, I would have been like, I want nothing to do with Zach, but his ability to get to the rim and score at will is something that's needed. And so I do think they can win with him. I think you're just in a spot where you've got 3 people who need to have the ball in their hand, and there's only one basketball. And so I think, like I said, this offseason, I'd like to see him part ways with DeMar, let some of the younger kids play and get some true role players, and let it be Zach and Patrick Williams' team.
So you think they pick Zach over DeRozan?
Yes. DeMar is a black hole on offense. The ball gets to him. Everything comes to a screeching halt. The offense stops. Nobody's cutting. Nobody's moving. And so when DeMar doesn't dominate the ball, he is so much better. And, he's 34, 35. He's got a lot of miles on that body. And so I do think that, they can move from him, maybe get like a true stretch three or a true power forward, and I think the Bulls will be better for it.
Interesting take, Jeremy.
Hey, you don't need Adrian Wojnarowski. You got Jeremy here, man. We'll break it down. Don't worry, Manny. I'll do all the work. You just sit there and do whatever it is you're doing, laughing and giggling.
I'm not talking about your Bulls because you go on a tantrum. If I say a temper tantrum, if I say anything bad about the Bulls, I think you need to wipe out. You got Patrick. Are you keeping him next year, or are you going to keep Lonzo Ball?
Lonzo's having his third knee surgery. They're already talking like he might be out 18 months.
I think yeah. That's a shame because I thought his career was taking off. I thought he was going to be a very good player. Playing good.
Let's not get it twisted.
Shooter.
Before he got hurt last year, the Bulls were the number one team in the East. They were playing exciting basketball. He was knocking down the three. They were playing solid defense. The kid had an all-around game. Wasn't nearly as flashy as it was going to be, but just a solid all-around leader on the court. That's what Zoe was doing.
It's a shame. Big John. What's up from Big John? Too thick.
That's good, Big John. Let's go.
Shout out. Nobody will remember Klay Thompson in 10 years. So right before I came on here, I put on Instagram the quote from Klay Thompson talking about Dylan Brooks, and nobody will remember him in 10 years. I double down on what Klay Thompson said. What do y'all think about that? Who is Dylan Brooks?
Yeah, who is Dylan Brooks? I cannot stand Dylan Brooks. I cannot stand him. He's trying to be Patrick Beverley. Speaking of Patrick Beverley, but he can't. He's a Make-A-Wish version of Patrick Beverley, in my opinion.
Damn.
Hey, I'm saying it. This guy's dirty. Patrick Beverley, I would never say would be dirty. He just gets into people's head. Dylan Brooks is trying to hurt people. Did you see Donovan Mitchell when he rolled on him?
Yeah,
he's trying to hurt people out there. So I can't stand him.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. Yeah, well, he said at Oregon when he was in college that he wanted to be Draymond Green.
Yeah. Nope, not even close. Not close to Draymond either.
It's funny, though. It's funny how this stuff goes now. If you play into social media and do certain things on the court, people talk about you. But you got a guy like Tim Duncan, everybody thinks he's boring.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Fundamental.
It's funny how that works. Let's go Bulls. Yeah.
Let's go.
Honestly, time goes and people forget all these players except for a few. I think Dylan Brooks will be at the top of the list of those who are forgotten. I don't see anybody. Even Santa Claus is not remembering Dylan Brooks.
No.
I don't see that happening.
Well, when you think of Memphis Grizzlies, who do you think of first? I think Jaren Jackson
Jr. Yeah.
Desmond Bain. And then what? Dylan Brooks after that? I when you think Golden State, you're thinking simultaneously, you're thinking Curry and Clay. Splash.
Hey, you think about some Hall of Famers. You think about some people that's going to go down in history as the best backcourt of all time. When you can bump Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, I mean, you're doing something. But you can talk it up or you can go play. I've never seen a player. I'm trying to think of some people. I've never seen a great player do both. I can't think of anybody that was upper echelon at their position in basketball who did a lot of talking. Now, we could be on the court, Jeremy. And I'm going to tell you, bro, you can't D me up. I'm talking about go out to the media and just start chirping about stuff. Mm-hmm. To me, that's very different. Larry Bird talked trash. Jordan talked trash. I get that. Magic Johnson talked his own trash, but those people back that thing up.
For the record, FD, I would shut you down, man. I would shut you down. It would be we could play to 11 ones and twos, and I'm just gonna have to shut it down, man.
Jeremy, I've heard this before in life.
Now I have no doubt you would roll Manny, and then you and me would be playing for the championship. It would make for good TV, man.
I like that.
You're running up and down the court twice, and you're going to be exhausted.
Manny, I would crush you. This stamina for days over here.
Have y'all played ball against each other? Have y'all played ball?
We haven't against each other. We should.
We should.
Yeah. Now I want to.
Thicc, where do you live? What state are you in?
Michigan.
Oh, what part of Michigan?
I'm like 45 minutes north of Detroit, like 20 minutes south of Flint, and Manny's just outside of Ann Arbor.
Oh, cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Once upon a time, I think I've told Jeremy I used to live in Farmington Hills.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's close, yeah.
Their coach needs to be an adult and get them in line. But I think people say this, Big John, just like these managers in baseball. I don't know how much time any of these coaches have to get people in line. I don't know.
No.
Like I see teams, like I see Houston's coach, and I've seen the Charlotte Hornets coach come to the post-game press conference. I rate that their team is not playing defense. Now you could just say, "Why don't you get that done in practice?" I don't know. I look at games. I don't see LaMelo Ball playing much defense. I don't think anybody's talking to him about that. I think he goes out and does his thing.
Yeah, when you get to that pro level, it's a different game. I went to Michigan State, so I'm a Tom Izzo. I see him all the time, and he got offered to go to the NBA to the Cavs, and he declined it because he was like, I can't coach in the NBA. It's more you're just a figure there.
I can see that. It's probably so much red tape. I mean, why is Michael Jordan walking away from Charlotte? I mean,
over what is he going to sell for over $1 billion?
Yeah, he's about to get paid. And he's probably tired of the frustration. He's probably tired of looking out at the team like, man, these dudes are trash. And I'm associated with this.
That's one thing. That's one thing LeBron and Michael Jordan, they do have in common is they both can't be a GM.
Well, LeBron GMing from the court while he's dribbling.
Yeah.
You know, he says, I don't have anything to do with personal.
Yeah.
Okay, Bron. Okay. Because whenever he gives somebody that stare down, they're pretty much done.
Yep.
Pretty much done. So one comment here. Well, no one randomly brings up James Worthy. I would think if you're talking to someone, let me say this the right way, that actually knows the game of basketball, they're talking about James Worthy. If someone's not talking about James Worthy, then I don't know what I could say about that. I've lived in LA and other places, and James Worthy is going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like Kevin McHale. I mean, who's talking about post moves and down low if you're not talking about Kevin McHale?
100%.
I don't know. The king of up and under. I do not know. So we're talking about basketball. Who do you all think is going to go far, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, in the NBA this year in the playoffs?
Go ahead.
I think from the West, you're gonna have the Nuggets, the Suns. I think those are the two teams to beat. I think the Nuggets are gonna work through. I think it's always good to have like a little bit of friction and some bad losses right before the playoffs to right side you and kind of slap you back into reality. Golden State's always going to be a scary team to me, just because they have the ability to turn it on. They've been there before. Mm-hmm. So from the West, I see that. From the East, I think it's the Bucks. I think they're too good right now, and I don't see anybody being able to knock them off.
They are good. What I really like about them is that they play great team defense beyond what Giannis is doing. They play great team defense. I think top 2 in the NBA in defense. So
yeah. Brook Lopez has turned into like a few years ago, he was just a body, and he's turned into like a damn fine player. He can stretch the floor, hit the three, and then he's blocking a couple shots a game, and is just a real menace around the rim. So
I know you remember
they play team ball.
When he's with the Bulls, he was a very different player.
Yes.
It's funny how that goes. The development of a player. Manny, what are you thinking?
Speaking of development of a player, this team I think could potentially go far, and people will laugh at me, but the Clippers, Russell Westbrook's new role, have you seen what he's been doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like they put him to his strengths. He's coming off like a big man on the pick and roll. Mm-hmm. So he's driving down the lane. He's not shooting. Like they have him, like his offensive rebounding has went up because he's getting the offensive rebound because no one's guarding him anymore. And then when there's like a defense, if he's getting a defensive rebound, they want him to press the court, and he's starting that transition. They didn't do that with the Lakers. No. And you could see the difference. But I mean, if they click, but like I said, you can't with Golden State. I know you're a Golden State. You have the Golden State hat on, but man, you got to beat the champs, right? Before you could say anything.
Hopefully they don't beat themselves, but
yeah, it's true. Well, Draymond kind of scared me because on his podcast, he's like, we can't compete this year and stuff like that. I don't know if it's just like a psyche he's putting in on people.
I think he's trying to call out his teammates.
Yeah. So the Nuggets are gonna do what the Nuggets do. They're gonna lose. I think probably Western Conference Finals maybe. And same with the Suns. I can't see the Suns going far because, recent history. I mean, Luka took them all on. I know they added Kevin Durant, but Luka took them on and beat them.
I just hope Durant can be healthy. If he can be healthy, then that gets very, very interesting because Brooks and CP3 need to lean on somebody a little bit to get them through. So I hope that can happen. We'll see. It's too many loose ends in basketball.
Yeah, no depth though on the Suns. They traded away.
And look at what Mikal Bridges is doing in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. I love Mikal Bridges. He's so good.
Probably be an All-Star next year.
Yeah,
I think almost 24 a game and doing other stuff. So
mm-hmm.
it is very, very interesting. LeBron James is coming almost to the end of his career. Do you all consider him the GOAT, and does he have more to prove?
You want to take this, Jeremy? Because I know
he's not the GOAT. I can appreciate his skill set. I can appreciate what he's done. I can appreciate the longevity. I can appreciate all those things. But he is not 1A. That's Michael Jordan by a landslide for me.
Manny, what are you thinking? You're pretty close to Ohio now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I am. But I grew up. My era was Kobe Bryant, so he's always everyone's gonna bash me, but Kobe Bryant's my GOAT in my eyes because that's who I grew up watching, and he mimicked Jordan's games. I was too young to really watch Jordan play. I remember watching him on the Wizards. So I can't really. I'm the type of person I can't say they're their GOAT if I didn't watch them. So I can't say anybody in the past. I say people that I've actually grew up watching who I think are great. So like I could see highlights, but if I haven't seen the actual game of like live, like I did with Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and that type of era, Dirk Nowitzki. I think Kobe Bryant, the mentality he had, the killer mentality, no one could beat it.
Yeah, it was special. Kobe was special.
Yeah.
Kobe, when people use the phrase "locked in," he was locked in all the time. It was almost like he was in character, like he was an actor or something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You talking to him about something and cracking a joke, and my favorite scene is when Chris Rock is sitting in his seat and Kobe's at the scoring table about to come in, and Chris is talking to him, and Kobe's just looking out, just locked in. There's not even listening to what this guy's talking about.
He said, I used to, as a kid, I would always yell Kobe time when I would play basketball. My friends would be like, "Uh-oh, he's locked in." So it's kind of funny that you brought that up.
That's funny. When we were as kids in Chicago, with every jump shot, you yell out Jordan.
Jordan. Now it's going to be what? LeBron? James?
It's probably going to be Curry or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
What y'all think Steph is? You think Steph is top 10, top 5? What y'all let on that?
Top 10, without a doubt. He changed the game of basketball. You drive through any neighborhood, nobody's practicing post plays, nobody's throwing up hook shots, nobody's working on the mid-range. Everybody's going with the giant killer or the raindrop or shooting 50-foot three-pointers.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
And that game lost. Like, he changed the game. The game was completely changed as a result of Steph Curry. And he's always, when he's on, that's must-see TV, man. That is absolute must-see TV. So he is top 10. When you get into that, like top 10, 5 through 9, somewhere in there, you're not going to get much of an argument because they're all great play. But, he needs to be recognized for how the games have evolved as a result of the way he plays.
First player in history to score 10,000 points from the three.
It's crazy.
That was a stat. Man, are you doubling down on that? You think he's top 10?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, growing up, I was watching Ray Allen and Reggie Miller and thinking that they were the best 3-point shooters of all time. And then Steph Curry just comes a couple years later and just tells them to sit down. I got this. So yeah, changing the game, winning 4 championships, and he's like the main. People will say Kevin Durant, but he was the main reason I think that he won those 4. So has to be him.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So when you all are out at shows, what are you seeing? What are people kind of buying? What price points are kind of moving? What are people talking about?
So we've been actually really fortunate because the Thicc Pod made a commitment to a show in Lansing. It's a monthly show that's 100 Bulls where we get to set up do 4 tables and do, live interviews, interact with dealers, interact with, people walking the show.
Mhm.
In addition to that, we've sent Courtney to Culture Collision Atlanta,
Mhm.
Dallas, the Burbank show, and then I was just recently out at PSA in Burbank. So collectively, and then we did Chicago Spectacular this past weekend, we have been, in the show. And what we're seeing is it's a little bit different than what's being conveyed via social media.
Mhm.
I am seeing a hobby that is alive and well, that is thriving. I am having the most fun I've ever had. And that, obviously acquiring cool cards, interacting with people, creating and maintaining relationships with people who now were at one point hobby friends, but have become true friends in every sense of the word has just been an absolute, in regards to football is so hot right now. I think everybody's trying to be smart and try to get out in front of it, where like the off season might end up being in season because people are so early right now. So recently my focus has been on acquiring football, and football is moving. Cash is moving. I think people are becoming a little bit more savvy where if they're a little bit upside down on the card, maybe you move the card, get the money, and move into something else instead of just holding it and being stuck. And so I'm seeing people who are a little bit more intelligent and savvy, like, willing to learn from mistakes, willing to take advice from others, willing to be active participants, and it makes for a good time.
Manny, what about you?
It's a buyer's market. Dealers are buying. People walking around are buying. There's so much foot traffic right now on card shows where we're at. We went to the Shipshawana in Indiana a couple weeks ago. The power was out.
Yeah,
It's still trade night going on. So it's a for sure real thing here in the Midwest. Like the Midwest is thriving right now. And like Jeremy said, everyone's looking for football or basketball, and they're looking for LeBron James, Steph Curry if they're going basketball. But in football, it seems like most people are looking for those 1 to 2 year quarterbacks that they could get rid of during the training camp. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm actually happy with the hobby right now because I'm getting cards that I never thought I would get.
Mm-hmm.
I do a little bit of a mixture of things. Mostly I do with soccer, and I'm starting to get into TCG as well. So the anime cards are like, I'm having the most fun right now opening. I don't know if you've seen it, but these Disney cards that everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I saw some this weekend of the show.
Yeah, Jeremy, Courtney, and I, we bought it right when it released and start opening it. I got to open it with my daughter. And this is before the peak of everything. And I pulled a Woody Auto, and my daughter went nuts. So it made it even more special. So that's going in to get graded, and I'm hoping it comes back really good.
Now, I hear a lot of people talking about Justin Fields. Is that a play? Is that a real play?
That is very much a real play. I probably have picked up 20 to 25 Justin Fields cards. And, we're, at least for Courtney and myself, the strategy is pretty simple. We buy in the off season and then sell, before the season starts. And so with the trading back and getting a number one wide receiver, having all the cap space going out, there's a buzz, and you could feel it in Chicago this weekend where people were willing to pay at comp or over comp, trusting in the card or believing in the card that buzz is going to be there at national and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of people know, a player doesn't even necessarily have to be good. If there's a good hype or buzz around him, for this show was like the Jordan Love, Justin Fields kind of show. It was kind of similar to like what Herbert and Burrow were a couple of years ago, where it's like you could just get it and turn around and sell it for, a quick increase if you want. So that was my experience. And, I interface with every single dealer. And so however many shows there were at the Chicago Spectacular, I talked to, damn near every single one of them. And that was consistent across the board.
Brendan Ryan asked a question here. Hi, FD. Do you think, do you guys think people are buying hard assets on the declining dollar and fears of banks going under? What do you all think?
I mean, I work in infrastructure, and how banks are operating, and with inflation and money's pretty expensive right now. these are legitimate concerns folks have. Again, our money that we use for cards is what I would consider disposable income. It's something that, that's money. If we weren't using it for cards, we'd use it to go to the movies or go to Top Golf or doing something like that. So, I by no means am I providing any sort of financial advice, but we're very mindful about cash reserves and some of the stuff we do, to protect our family. Now, Manny, he's got a lot of money. He's got all the Fanatics money that they cut for Two Thick Pod, so he just spends it like it's going out of style.
Is that how you roll, Manny?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm the same with Jeremy. It's kind of money that if I were to lose it, I'm not hurting. And that's how I treat everything that I'm buying right now. But yeah, I actually do think people are going hard on like the goats in the hobby to keep for long term, just in case. So I have been seeing a lot of that.
So going back to Jordan Love, do you all think that he's like the answer for the Green Bay Packers, or is he a short-term answer, or what do you think of him?
No.
I had a card for like a day, and I was like, you know what? I get this thing away from me. Get this off my hands. I think, I've got a friend who's a diehard Packers fan, and he's convinced that it's going to be just like when Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench for a couple of years and Brett Favre left, and then he seamlessly moved in. I think the Green Bay folks feel the same way that like Jordan Love had all the talent. He's had a couple years to sit back, and he's going to slide right in. And I haven't seen the guy play football in a few years, so that's not a chance.
Yeah, he's only played a little bit.
Yeah.
I just always ask the question, in NFL history, how many good to great Hall of Fame quarterbacks have left, and then the next person was the bomb?
Not
so
many.
You only name like what you just named, and you can name
Montana,
Steve Young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Most teams have to go through a process to find the next person, if they ever do find that next player. So
Yeah.
We'll see. I will say I haven't seen a lot of him play. He hasn't been on the field a lot, so there's a lot of we're all guessing something. So soon we'll see what Jordan Love is all about. Who's their backup? I don't even know who these teams like. Who's their backup?
No, I don't know. I think Jordan Love's going to be the backup. To be honest with you,
Who's going to be the starter?
I think they go get someone. They have to. I'm big into college sports, and I saw Jordan Love, and the big thing with quarterbacks is accuracy. And if they don't have the accuracy by the NFL, they don't get it. Like it's not like something that you could get. And he had an accuracy problem. And I remember his rookie year, Aaron Rodgers was throwing it and peppering it to people, and Jordan Love was just airmailing it. He might be the rare occasion where he gets it, but he was a running quarterback. So the hype there. And I think that's the same with Justin Fields. Like Jeremy said, it doesn't have to be good, but if he can make a play where he's running 40 yards, that's what Justin Fields did, right? He rushed for 100 yards and threw for 10. And I mess with Jeremy about that all the time. But there's hype around that. Lamar Jackson, running quarterback. Everyone's hype. I think the Jalen Hurts, another runner. I think the hype with the hobby is these rushing quarterbacks.
Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of the evolution of the position.
Yep.
Trying to think about how we had a rushing quarterback win a Super Bowl.
Pat, would you say Mahomes? He was, right? Or no?
I don't know if I would call him a rushing quarterback.
Okay.
A running quarterback. He can get stuff done with his feet, but he's not Lamar Jackson.
No, not Lamar.
Steve Young was mobile, but he wouldn't be a rushing quarterback.
I wouldn't say so either. So it'd be interesting, the evolution of the game when these quarterbacks start winning Super Bowls is when they're going to – then you won't have Lamar Jackson having these questions about durability and signing him to a contract because then it will be norm.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan comes back and says, in my opinion, sports cards are just as good barter-wise as constitutional silver.
I see it. How long has Topps been around, right?
Yeah.
The mantle. So –
what are you all's thoughts on the future of the hobby? What do you see stuff going on? I think soon we're going to start hearing more from Fanatics on what their plans and ideas are. They walked the Chicago show. They've been to several shows. Their leadership group giving recommendations. They've dropped some stuff on social media. What are you all thinking?
I'm bullish on the hobby. Just in regards, if you were if it's just escapism to break free from the drags of everyday life, whether it's, a tough day at work, tough day at the office, things aren't going too hot at home, it's something where you can, break free. But we enjoy it, and this is our experience, but like I love being able to do something with my kids where they're having fun, and unbeknownst to them, they're learning some skills that they're not getting at school and they're not getting being on a phone, interacting with somebody, having a real life conversation, like learning about marketing, learning about the importance of money and how money acts, learning about some of these things that, quite frankly, the school system doesn't go out of their way to teach them. And so, the fact that for us that we can do this as a pure hobby, have fun, and spend time together while educating our kids on some skills that'll be applicable in real life. I mean, I'm excited. On top of that, I love sports and I love cards. And so, as we continue to grow, I try to be a better hobby participant, which means, I'm making smarter plays. I'm avoiding cards that are like, brands that you should avoid. I'd like to think that I'm a little bit better today than I was yesterday. And I'm excited to see where the future goes. And, as I said earlier, the friendships that I've made, a year ago, FD, we weren't chatting. Now this is the second or third time you've had me on.
Sure.
And, makes me question your decision making that you'd listen to me multiple times. But hey, we're grown men that play with cardboard, so I guess we're all like a little lost, man. But
when you told me you were a Jordan and a Bulls fan, you're my man.
There you go.
That's funny. I think innovation, by the way, like, did you see the new Courtney went to Burbank and Tag was there, and she said that the actual slabs kind of reminded her of like a phone case type of slab. And so like I would say innovation of these companies I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Topps Chrome football come back and Topps basketball, because the inserts in the like 90s, like I would say like 97, 96 to like 2000s were the best. I just watched an episode of like on YouTube where they were showing like inserts that they had, and I mean that beats like a Downtown and a Kaboom like 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, those inserts back then were special.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story. I was sitting at the dinner table one night, and oftentimes people are confused when they slide into the DMs because they don't know if they're dealing with Courtney or myself. Well, most people now know that it's typically Court. Well, I'm sitting there and I get an Instagram phone call from FD, and he's like, "Hey man, where you at?" And I'm like,
"You were there.
Is this a trick question?" I'm like, "At the dinner table feeding my daughter dinner."
I heard you.
And he's like, "Oh." He goes, "I thought you're at the show." I'm like, "Well, Courtney is, but I'm here back in Michigan in the brutal weather."
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I connected because we were about to leave that day, and I had sent a message earlier, and I wanted to make sure that I saw people before I got up out of there. And then while I was on the phone with you, I see Courtney walking up.
I thought they were together. I thought Courtney was like, because she likes to jab it to me, like, "Oh, I'm having fun. What are you doing?" And so I thought they were together, like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing?" Like, sticking it to me.
Get on the fence.
Next time. We got Zerny in the house. Zerny says, "What's up, fam? Good to have you here, Zerny."
What's good, Zerny?
Let me see some of my questions here.
Isn't it crazy, like a hobby going back, like the friendship that we can? I mean, I told this to Jeremy. We're adults. I wouldn't say older. We're adults. How many adults make friends in real life now with kids and having a job besides the hobby? The hobby, I see the hobby as like, I'm going to lose money. I'm going to make money, but I see more value in the relationships I build.
I agree. I even talked to some people who make trips to go to shows, and it's really about who they're going to be around, who they see more than what card they're looking for.
Yep.
It's kind of what it's all about. So to tell me, now we talk about origin stories on here. Walk me through, how did Two Thicc podcast begin?
Manny, this is all you, man. It's your time to shine.
No.
I'm interested.
So I used to work for I helped with content. I shouldn't say work. I helped with content with Lucas Tigers LeBron. So Andrew and Cage. I did their clips and stuff like that. I did some of their content with Cage. And then Jeremy I knew Jeremy because they were a regular listener, I should say. And Cage always talked highly about the Reckless fam and how they did it right. They supported everything that Lucas Tigers did. They had an NFT, and I think Jeremy and them bought like 5 of them just for support. And so I started to support them through Cage, would go on their Whatnot because they would do Whatnot streams and do breaks. And when I'm in here in these Whatnot streams, they're giving away hobby boxes of like wrestling and baseball. They're just giving away because they felt bad on the previous break that it sold for too much. And this is the kind of person like people they are. And so we were in the WWE break and they pull an Otis card, and this guy's a heavier set guy. And I was like, wow, he's thick. Like, I'm trying to get the chat going. So I'm trying to make the chat like laugh, get Jeremy to laugh. And then Jeremy says like thick. He like says it and kept saying it. And then he pulls a dewdrop. And Jeremy's like, oh, she's thick. And then we're like, we would call each other thick all the time, talk to each other, just say, hey, thick, and back and forth. And we're like, you know what? We have a connection. We're 2 hours apart from each other. We never knew this. Why don't we start a podcast and we want to do a podcast where it's like we're at a bar talking sports cards. I mean, we both have daughters and children and jobs. This is kind of our escape gate. And I can't talk to my wife about cards because she's just like blows me off. So I need Jeremy in my life. So let's just record it.
I like this.
Yeah.
And so the thing was,
big bro now.
And so like the way we participate in the hobby is completely different too, which makes for a unique dynamic. Like I'm fascinated by the education. I'm a system and process guy. I love tinkering and seeing what works. Manny's a social butterfly. Manny likes to go and, shake hands and kiss babies and, just like a bag in the wind, just kind of whimsical about what he does. And so, the thing was like, let's get on. Let's be our authentic self. We're at different stages in our hobby career. We face unique challenges. Let's share it with people. Let's have fun with it. Neither of us take ourselves serious at all. So the thing became sports, cards, and levity. Life is hard. People are dealing with stuff. So if we get on, let's not tell people what to do. Let's not preach. Let's share the good, the bad, ugly. Let's poke fun at each other and let's provide, what we hope to be, some education mixed in with a lot of good laugh and, having a good time. And so far, I think we found a recipe that, works for us and we've had a blast doing it.
Well, we kind of tell people what to do. And it's kind of like we don't mean to. And it's just do the opposite of what Manny does and you'll win. Because Manny takes L's. Manny takes big fat L's. So I'm a Michigan State guy. I was buying Miles Bridges, and there's my first L.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you a story. So, yeah, I came close to buying a Miles Bridges card.
Yeah.
This is today, though. This is sports today. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with a player.
No.
I came real close, and I said, let me see. I even contacted the seller on eBay. We talked about price. I was like, well, you're charging. I felt like you were charging. It was a high price. And, we'll come back in like 2 months. I came back in 2 months. I'm watching this thing.
Yep.
It was a black label Prism. I forgot what color, numbered. It was a pop one card, man. So I'm watching this thing, and like a few days later, I start hearing some stuff. I'm like, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't think you ever really knew, but when social media wasn't like it was, so players back in the day could have been doing anything, and we may not have known. But nowadays, it just plays such a role. The intangibles play such a role. So you collect by your heart, man.
So I used to until I met Jeremy. I would collect. I got in the hobby like in 2019, just before everything took off. I used to collect tops with my uncle all the time back in like when I was a kid, and he would give me his like doubles of the tops baseball cards. But when I never did basketball or football, it was just always baseball. And I was buying when the boom hit, I was buying base Luka second year, thinking I was gonna be rich at like $40 a pop. I still have them now. They're like $1. So there's another L. I just, like I said, I take L's. I buy with my heart. I buy Miles Bridges, Jaren Jackson, Xavier Tillman, like all the Draymond Green. I kind of PC Michigan State players. But it did hurt me with the Miles Bridges because he was our guy at Michigan State. He was like a kid that you would thought would have went up and just been an all-star, which he kind of seemed like he was on that trend, going to get a max deal, and then he does stupid stuff. So do with my heart. Now I'm doing what I like now, I guess, and I'm thinking of other people too, what they like, because I screwed myself too much.
It's interesting. Well, I mean, I know people that draft fantasy football players based upon something that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Manny's he's being a little modest too, because recently, over the last couple months, he's actually had some tremendous success. And so the DMs or like the people who stop you at shows to like talk about how relatable Manny is, because when they go on, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, all they see are 4 and 5 figure cards with people posting win after win. What they found is they've actually followed along. We're about a year into this thing, following Manny's journey, him being transparent about, whether he made a lateral move to get himself unstuck, made a trade. And like, as he's having these new experiences, he's sharing them, FD. And that's relatable. And I think we talked about this when you and me and Court talked. We're talking about fiscal responsibility. And it's refreshing for somebody to hear that, like, that's not reality. Not everybody goes to a card show and buys 5 and 6 figure cards and wheels and deals. There's some people that have $100 and 2 cards to work with. And so they've followed Manny's journey, and it's awesome. It's very refreshing. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you got
it. Thank you for being on the Too Thick Pod, FD. I'll turn it over to you, my man.
Oh, good. I'm here.
You got to tell the story of the Chicago sports card about the guy that was like about me. He was like, "Oh, I died or something."
Yeah. So like, I always like to joke. They're like, "So where's Manny?" And I'm like, he's a bum. He's not here." And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, he doesn't want to do work anymore." And they just went, "Aw, that's so sad. He was doing so good." And they took me very literally. And I was like, no. He's on daddy duty. He's doing something far more important than cards. And they're like, "Oh, okay." Like, a part of them died when they heard Manny had like quit or succumbed to hobby pressure.
I got number love for you, Manny.
Yeah. I'm glad I could. I provide entertainment to our podcast. That's about what I got. Like Jeremy said, he's the analytical guy. I'm the entertainment. So
there you go. We got Courtney here. Courtney says, "Hey."
Damn. Too thick groupie in the house. What's up, girl? Slide into my DMs. Reckless cards.
Manny doesn't collect anymore.
Oh boy.
All right, so we got Brendan here. He said, "I don't know. I see a lot of James Wiseman cards creeping in collections. Influencers will remain nameless to protect the innocent." I don't know who's buying James Wiseman. I don't know.
That's something. He has played pretty good ball here in Detroit. Yeah. That in the off season, depending on what kind of moves they make, I might take a flyer and a couple of cheaper cards. But one thing that's most people, if they're pushing something on you, there's an agenda behind it. So, we're just all about education. Do what's in your best interest.
Yeah. And then having fun,
Yeah.
And then I believe you can buy something and not try to influence anybody to buy it.
Yeah.
Sharing what you buy.
Yep. James Wiseman is getting bigger in here. The card shows here. I'm seeing more and more James Wiseman's pop up. So
yeah. Very true. Courtney says, "My son." LOL.
Yeah. We call Manny our 5th child. In addition to him being immature and not ever paying for anything, we were going to claim him on our taxes. So since he's a dependent, he becomes my son.
Manny, you get mad love tonight, man.
I know. Yeah, I do.
Manny, I got a question for you. You're rocking the Dallas Mavericks hat. You got 77 embroidered on the side. What's up with Luka, man? What's Luka?
Oh, man, I'm nervous with him because he's been injured. I mean, every year, right? But he's so good. Like when he plays, I'm nervous. Like he said he's not gonna get the scoring title because he's not playing 20 years. My fear is how many years is he actually gonna?
This is a question I was going to ask because I think Luka might have a shorter career than we all really want for him, man.
Yeah, I mean
He's been
been
playing ball though since he was a young kid.
Yeah, with Real Madrid, right? 14 years old. Was it 14 he was playing with them? Man, it's going to be a sad day. Mark Cuban has to get – I know he's trying with Kyrie, and they haven't clicked because either one or the other is hurt, right?
That's right.
He has to get – he needs a center, I think. I said this from the start. Instead of like someone like Kyrie, which is a great pickup, I think he would have been better off getting someone – they tried with Christian Wood, but they need someone that he could dish it down low. I was always imagine the dream matchup of him or teammate, him and Joker on the same team. They would be unstoppable.
Yeah, they joked about that at All-Star break.
I know.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to watch.
Yeah. I want that. But yeah, it's scary. Mark Cuban has to do something quick with him because, like you said, I don't think his career is going to be long. And a lot of people are buying cards at a maximum price for him.
Like Courtney says here, my pink Luca just got here. That what is that numbered out of? What's the pink numbered out?
The pink ice is not. It's not numbered.
Okay.
There was Courtney bought the purple at Burbank, and she was going for the pink as well.
Yeah,
the card sold, and the card sold, and so I was able to sneak on PWCC and win one for her. So she felt bummed that she missed out on that one, but she got to come home from one. So PWCC must have delivered today. So I'm glad that she's having a good mail day while I'm in Cincinnati.
He said as much. He has no intentions of being LeBron. Yeah, Luca did say that.
Yeah,
I think Luca knows what's right on the wall. Let's get ahead of this before the media takes us and runs with it. Because, I mean, like this year, he had some kind of thigh issue. It'd be interesting to me if you even see him again the rest of the season.
Don't say that.
It didn't look good, man. When that's on tape,
you're making me cry on the show.
I don't want you to cry, man. I don't want you to cry. Brendan asks, any theories on who will buy the Hornets? I have not heard anything. I do not.
Jeremy. He says he's in Ohio, but I think he's in Charlotte. That's my theory.
Yeah, I don't have FD money. Look at the graphics in the background, the designer fit, the gold frames. I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have those FD bucks, man.
We just we're low budget a certain way. Lucas should ask for Andre Drummond. Really?
Hey, man, Drummond is like one of the weirdest guys. He does some goofy stuff, man, but that's the only guy I've ever seen who'll pull down like 9 rebounds in 4 minutes and then go on the offensive end and do something just like he acts like he's a point guard and like kicks the ball out of bounds. It's wild.
Basic finger roll and completely lose the ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need someone better than Powell. I cannot stand Powell. We need someone better than him. It could be anybody.
That's funny. Courtney says my hero.
There you go.
Is that you, Manny?
No, it's definitely Jeremy.
For sure.
That is funny stuff.
Hey, what's going on, Garrett? I look forward. So, FD in the comments, you got Garrett Polka. He got Luca numbered to 10. And I remember the day he won the auction, he was at a show, and we met him for the first time, and he was talking through what he was going through and what he should do. And he won a Luca auto out of 10, cheaper than what the 99s were going for. The auction ended at a real goofy time, and he was convinced that the eBay seller wasn't going to send it. And I remember getting the DM that the card actually arrived, and I was so happy and stoked for him. Shout out to him for when you win those auctions you don't think you're going to get, but also shout out to the seller, because I feel like I'm the only person that when a card totally tanks or doesn't do what I expect it to do, it's that sick feeling, but it's the right thing to do, man. Somebody got to steal, and good for you.
Yeah, I've purchased some things where you get that feeling I hope that I'm asking the person, when is this actually going to be turned over to the USPS? so that we know that thing is in Dram's head.
Yes. Yes. Bulls win in double overtime.
Oh, really?
Double overtime. Bulls win. Patrick Beverly, let's go.
Was that 15 on the season?
Man, we're working towards the play.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time that Joel Embiid's ever lost to the Bulls.
So Embiid had 37, 16 rebounds. Embiid's playing. Maxey had 22. I just picked up – there's a guy who frequently watches this channel by the name of Nate, and I just picked up this Maxey today. He just sent it to me. I just picked it up.
That's sick.
That is nice.
I'm a big net Maxey. I like. So Brendan, Brandon, don't think I'm trying to influence.
Hey, we picked up a Maxi. I picked up a tie-dye auto this past weekend, numbered out of 25. It's a beautiful card.
Nice card.
Yep.
And his stuff is still, I mean, people are like, he's not out here balling every night. I don't know what the deal is. So you have Zach with 26. You got Lukasic with 21. DeRozan with 25. Balanced scoring. Jones Jr. with 10. White with 10. Patrick Beverly with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in 40 minutes, putting out some defense. Only shot 2 attempts from the field, but he puts in the defense.
Exactly.
Cool. George says, "Word, FD, you on the grind, rolling live again. No days off. On Sundays and Mondays, we try to get after it. You know, try to have our people on, talk to different people in the hobby, get a word on what's going on. What are they seeing? That's what it's all about."
Amen.
That is what it's all about. What made you both? I know, Jeremy, we talked about this before, but you can share your story again. What made you want to get in the hobby? Man, I want to hear your story too. What made you want to start collecting, or buying or selling or really doing anything in the hobby?
So I did talk about like my losses with Luca, but my uncle. So when I was a young kid back in like the mid 90s, my uncle would have me. I don't know if he was. It was cheap labor. It was free, but I basically wrote down. He liked to keep his Topps cards like in order, so he had me handwritten the card, the name of the card, the number, the serial number, the name of the player, and some stats. And we do like fun games off this Topps cards. But I used to love the aspect of him collecting and getting those cards, the duplicates. We got out of the age, and then I was like in 2019, 2020, Zion was hurt. I'm a big college. We kind of discussed. I'm a big college sports guy. And Michigan State just beat Zion, the Duke, to make it to the Final Four. Zion had big hype, and I wanted a rookie card for Zion out of nowhere. I was like, man, Zion's going to be really good. Let me get his rookie card. And I was buying his rookie card when he was hurt for $60. And this was like 2 weeks before he came to make his like rookie debut, like in January, February. And it spiked to like 150, 180. And I bought a couple of them and I was able to sell them. And I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. So that it just like a snowball down the hill. And then getting out and listening to content. I love listening to content. And that's where I met Andrew and Cage. And within that, I met Jeremy. And meeting the people in the hobby has made my experience 10 times better. So the more people I meet, the better the hobby. I don't care if the market's going down. I don't care about cards going down. Yes, it does hurt, right? When you buy something for like $1,000 and now it's like $200. My other loss, my Kobe rookie Topps PSA, the Topps base. Yep, that happened to me. So we could go on and on about my L's, but the experience and meeting people, like I said, Jeremy, now he's my brother. I consider him my brother. I talk to him on a daily basis. I bug him on a daily basis, I should say. Sometimes,
that is correct.
Yeah, I bug him. I call my big sis Courtney all the time, asking her for advice. And it's not even sports card advice. It's like life advice because they've been through it. So yeah, I guess the relationships has got me hooked into the hobby more so than the cards.
That's really what it's all about.
I love sports.
I do too.
I love all sports. And when I was a kid, I remember going to the card shop, and that's what we did as kids. And none of us had money, so you'd scrounge up $3, $4, $5, and you would try to get a pack. And I remember one time I pulled my first ever. I pulled a Griffey rookie, and it was a big deal at the time. I remember it was like a $90 raw, and it was the greatest card ever. And I couldn't even comprehend what the hell grading was or why somebody would pay all that money to get it put in a special piece of plastic. Didn't understand any of that. And as I got older, like I learned that, hey, I'm actually pretty decent at cards. I like learning about it, and I love sports. And just like you, as we get older, it's a little bit more difficult to find friends or people that you can associate with. I've got my, as a family, we have our morals and our ethics. And so we tend to shy away from people who don't fall in line with that. And so when you meet people where you automatically have a common interest, we like sports and cards. Oh, wait a minute, you're married and you have a family and a career and you're balancing this. It makes it really easy and a lot of fun and just very relatable. So just like everybody else, man, I like buying shiny stuff. I like trading. I like the action. I like, sharing the cool stuff. I love hearing awesome stories. And then, the icing on the cake is getting to be on rolling with FD. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. I'm humble. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to come on too, Thicc, man.
We got to have you on, man.
Yeah.
Take it.
That would be our biggest guest to date.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love it. I'd love to come in and have fun. Randall has 54 points. Julius Randall. So, historically, just so people know, and keep it real with you all. I think Randall has benefited greatly from having Brunson there. So
make me cry again.
I'm just saying it's just
make me cry again.
But I'm happy that Randall has 54 tonight. So I looked at his stats: 18-27 from the field, 8 of 13 from the three. That's impressive, especially after what he did in the 3-point contest. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He's playing tonight, and Brunson is playing. Brunson has 23, 9 of 18 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three, 2 rebounds, 9 assists. They play well together.
Tom Thibodeau is a hell of a coach. He did some stuff with the Bulls with players that they had no business competing, and he gets the most out of them.
Well, he's going to make sure that you're playing defense. You're going to be on that court.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then you're going to come up and sit down.
We used to, if the Bulls were down by 30 and Tom Thibodeau was the coach, there was always I don't want to say easy money, but you knew the game wasn't going to end with the Bulls being down by 30. They were going to fight, scratch, and claw and make a game of it. And even if they lost, that team historically had a terrible record the next game because it was a dogfight till the end.
Oh yeah, they were spent. They were physically drained. Garrett says Randall's going for the record. What is the record? I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm curious too.
Are you a Randall fan as well, Manny?
No, I mean the Brunson hurts me because of Mavericks not paying him. But Randall, I love that Laker team that after Kobe, when it was Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma. That team, if they stuck together, would be dangerous right now. And it hurts that they traded them for essentially LeBron and AD, right?
Well, LeBron showed up and started looking at people, and then they all disappeared.
Yeah, they all disappeared. I mean, that team would have been stacked.
Yeah. Courtney says 3 Thicc.
There we go.
Thicc. Yeah.
Thicc.
That will be fun. So we talked about quarterbacks. Are there certain teams that you're excited about when the NFL's coming up? I believe the 49ers are 1 quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah.
What if Lamar Jackson went to the 49ers?
That'd be when's if Aaron Rodgers went to the 49ers?
That would be nice too. That would be nice. I just think Lamar over there would be like a showtime.
Oh yeah.
Shanahan, an offensive genius. You give him the opportunity to put a game plan with Lamar's skill set. It's not exactly
all guys.
Yes, Kittle. You know what I mean? It's not exactly Tampa or not Tampa, but Baltimore is exactly, surrounded with that man with a lot of weapons outside of Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That would be wild. I do think at some point Lamar is hurting himself a little bit by representing himself. I think having that buffer in between where you can remove some of the feelings and just make pure, business decisions. I think unfortunately that's impacting him a little bit. And I think, ultimately Baltimore is going to run him into the ground. It's going to be franchise tag until they decide to be done with him.
Probably right. Courtney says Karen Rodgers.
Courtney hates Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, I'm not fond of him.
No. I mean, you guys probably would have I feel like you guys would have beat the Eagles if you had a healthy quarterback. I mean, you were throwing Christian McCaffrey out there in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers need a quarterback. I feel like they're very similar to the Denver Broncos when Tim Tebow was there. You get a quarterback, you're going to be in the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. But
I'm scared to tell you my team. I'm scared to tell you.
What's the buzz like in California, though, knowing that essentially you have a defense that's just absolutely nasty. You have everything on offense ready to go, and you're a quarterback away. Is there this notion that, we can do this with Trey Lance, or is there like a push to go out and get a quarterback that is win now?
Well, when I talk to 49er fans, I think they still want someone. I don't think Trey Lance's abilities match up with that team. He's a running quarterback who then throws the ball. And not to the accuracy level, like Manny talked about earlier, as Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar would be that kind of quarterback they probably wanted to draft, but actually getting it done. So I think that people still want a quarterback. Purdy went in, he had surgery, so he's basically out. I mean, I don't see him being a part of the situation. I still see people buying Purdy cards, so maybe they're thinking about long term, a little bit longer term on that. Jimmy G now is with Oakland. I think they swapped out. I joke with JD, who I do another podcast with all the time, that they swapped out for the same quarterback. I mean, Jimmy G and Carr are the same quarterback. They kind of play the game the same way. They have inaccurate throws the same way. They misread a defense the same way. I mean, I think at some point you have to make change to keep people in the seats watching the game, people viewing the game on TV. You got to create some buzz. That probably went into that. But the 49ers, they got to have something. I think they still got to have something up their sleeve. I just don't believe that they're going to walk into the season and hand 17 weeks over to Trey Lance. I just don't think so.
A running quarterback who's coming off of a knee surgery.
Yeah. How do you feel? So this is going to tell you who I like. And we were friends. We're friends, right? Before I tell you this. Yeah. How would you feel if Dak Prescott went to the 49ers? Do you think they would be in contention?
No.
Okay.
No. Dak Prescott is just not that kind of quarterback.
Okay. I'm a Cowboy fan, so there you go. I'm hyped.
I hope you one day get something besides Dak Prescott, but you sunk money into that.
Yeah, I know. We got rid of Zeke, though.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. He's running for 53 yards a game. You really should have got rid of him 3 years ago.
Yep, I agree.
But this is why you don't take a running back. Basically, Zeke got run into the ground. I mean, the first years of his career, he's running the ball crazy amount of attempts. It's like you're going to end his career.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what happened. It'd be interesting to see who picks him up. It's going to be interesting to see how much longer he's in the league.
Yeah.
I feel for
what the Chargers are doing with Austin Eckler, man.
They're going to trade him, right?
Yeah, we're not going to pay him. We'll just go and draft a back in the 4th round, run him into the ground, and let's use our money elsewhere.
That's the running back position is now. You get ran into the ground. You make a few Pro Bowls. You think you're doing it. And then before you know, your career is over. I mean, look at what was the running back from the Rams a couple of years ago?
Todd Gurley.
Same he was running, catching the ball, running, and then gone. Phantom injury that they never really talked about. Gone. Looked like a knee problem.
Mm-hmm. Foreman too. Devontae Foreman for the Falcons, and then you had Melvin Gordon. Those are the two that popped right in my head.
Mm-hmm. Very true. That's what football is today. Mm-hmm. No Dak is what Christopher King says. Jimmy G and Carr is just that point of Spider-Man. They're the same player.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. Christopher says, yes, 49ers fan here. Definitely wish we can get Lamar Jackson long shot and salary cap hit. He's about to get paid.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to maximize the money that he wants, but he's going to pick up a few dollars, a few coins. Car Vibe said, I picked up a Darnold Zebra 10 for $75, a Prism Silver Auto 10 for $99, and a Field Level Silver 10 for $45. I think if he even sniffs a start, I'm doing decent if I sell.
I love this play, and I don't want to be dismissive of, a little over $230, but this is a minimal risk, relatively high reward by doing that. We did the same thing with Sam Darnold last year, and then there was talks he was going to start with the Panthers, and the minute that news came out, I turned 20 into 40 and 40 into 80. I took my money and moved on. Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that card vibe.
He's with the 49ers, right? He signed with the 49ers, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got Junior. I have my son Junior here. Junior's typing stuff right now. He says, "Let's talk about Pokemon." Do you all do any Pokemon?
I haven't. I do like the TCG world. I'm starting to get into it. I'm doing like anime right now. Bro Namath, I don't know if you know him on Instagram. He's taken me under his wing and teaching me.
Oh,
his way.
Namath?
Bro Namath, yeah.
Let me look him up right now.
And he's a big.
He is like the king of black labels, like
Yeah.
for TCG. Like
Oh,
everybody,
I'm already connected with him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has cards here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, black label, 10.
What he likes about TCG is you could open a case for $1,000, let's say, or 700 to $1,000, and you could pick apart that case and get your money back. Kind of like how he explained it, how it was back in like the 90s when you open up boxes. And right now, when you open up sports boxes, you're already knowing you're gonna not make your money back unless you get the biggest hit, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he does the TCG world, and he's teaching me, and I've learned a lot. So I might get into Pokemon here shortly because it is fun.
Alex asked a question here. Your thoughts about Ramondre and Mac Jones this year?
Ramondre Stevenson's in that prime right now, kind of like where we're talking about. I think he's going to be a stud this year. Mac Jones, though, I think he needs. I'm not a big fan of Mac Jones, to be honest. So,
but I think his arm strength is almost a little above average. It's not like, if he stays in that system, though, he's going to produce. But I don't know if you can ask him if a game is on the line, you're in the playoffs, something like that. Can you ask him to go beyond that? I just don't know.
No, I don't think so. But Ramondre Stevenson is a good fantasy player. If you, I think he's a good fantasy pickup, is what I would say.
You know who he reminds me of? Do you remember a long time ago, Manny? This is probably before your time. I remember the first year I was in a fantasy league and somebody took a guy by the name of Arian Foster.
Ooh.
And Arian Foster went on to go and have like 4 or 5 years where if you had Arian Foster, you were winning your league.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can be that sort of player because not a lot of people, he's not a household name yet. And I think he's going to explode onto the scene.
Well, when you jump looking at his stats, in 2021, he had 606 yards rushing, 4.6 average, which is nothing you can sneeze at. And then last year, he had 1,040 on 210 carries for a 5-yard average.
This is on the Patriots, too.
That's on the Patriots. That's not any other team.
Yeah.
If you know, the Patriots just doesn't focus on a running back.
Nope.
I think it's amazing. So that's impressive. Yeah, y'all just told me something because I didn't even have him on my radar.
Yep, put him on your radar. Draft him.
Interesting. Hero 3 says Clay will make you pay. No one forgetting the 77th best player in the history of the NBA. Some people think Clay is overrated. He's past his prime. He's a shell of himself. I've heard a lot of different things.
I have mad respect with Clay when he tore his ACL and came back out and shot that free throw. Being the Kobe fan in me, it reminded me of Kobe. And all the hardship he's been going through. I mean, what was it? 2 years he didn't play and coming back and still being able to play.
Who does that?
Yeah, exactly. No one. So I like Clay, and that's the 75 annual like best players. Are they going to redo this like every year?
Oh, we get to 100. No, we get to 100. They'll come back out like they did the 50s in the 90s.
Here's the thing that I think Clay, unfortunately, is just overshadowed by Steph's brilliance. And I don't think if Steph was there to overshadow it, we'd pay more attention to what Clay's done because you remove Steph for a long time. It was pretty widely accepted that Clay might be the second best shooter of all time.
Agree.
Mm-hmm.
And the man plays defense too.
I saw a list of top 10 of all time. They had Steph 1, Clay 2. Oh, I want to say Reggie Miller 3, Ray Allen 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the Golden State, who do you think FD is the most key player on that? Like, if you take him out,
Draymond Green.
Yes, I knew it. That's my guy.
Disrespect. People can say whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
Draymond Green is not on that court. That's a very different team.
Okay. I agree. I get into arguments with a lot of people about it.
Who are people saying that you're arguing with? Who are they naming?
It's a bunch of people, like just random sports NBA fans, you know?
No. I'm saying, what player are they naming?
Oh, they think Steph and Clay, but I think Draymond, because he's like basically he's running that team on the court.
Draymond made a statement one time, and which is very true if you pay attention to it. He said, unless you're upper echelon, legendary player, you better find your role.
Yep.
And when you find your role, you better master it. And that's how you stay in the NBA. So he said, if I want, because there is some, if you ever watch YouTube and look at Draymond, I think his rookie year or second year in the summer league, Draymond is shooting jump shots, shooting mid range, shooting threes. But that's not what the Golden State Warriors need him to do. We just saw with James Wiseman, they wanted him to pick and roll. Wiseman can do much more than that, but they wanted him to pick and roll and block shots and things like that, and just play his Kevon Looney role. That's not what he does. Yeah. That's what Looney does. Mm-hmm. So, and you got to think about Looney. Looney's been around 10 years. If you go back and watch early finals, even when Kevin Durant was there, Looney was in the finals in street clothes. He was just there.
Yep.
So he's been around that system. But if you put Looney in with another team, Ja's on the bench at this game. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good to see him. Good to see him. So, certain players learn their role and they stay within their role. You can go with some greats. Like I remember Dennis Rodman, people forget, was coming off the bench with the Detroit Pistons. John Sally was starting over him. There were other players starting over him. But in today's game, we feel like a lot of people, not us here, but a lot of people feel like there's no room for growth and development. You need to come out of high school. You need to go to the G League, and you need to come into the NBA and score 25 points a game for 20 years. And it doesn't work like that. There's a ramp-up period. Even with some of the greats that we can name, there is a ramp-up period of find out who you are as a player. What are you good at? What does the team need? Because nobody cares about that when we start talking about really the hobby. Nobody's talking about what does that team need for that player to do. That's why you see players like Mikal Bridges. You see him move. Brooklyn wants him to score. So he's scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But Phoenix wanted him to do other stuff because they have their scorers. It's not taking shots out of Booker's hand, CP3's hand, but there's no CP3 over there. So he goes over there and scores. So, those are the kind of things you got to kind of, I try to kick back and watch and see what's going on. And then what is the coach telling you about? They'll probably tell you about what is the front office talking about. Because you're only going to hear from the front office every now and then, every blue moon.
Think about Lauri Markkanen, man. He was written off as a bust, and he just needed time to develop and find his game, get accustomed to living in the States. And you've got these are like 18, 19-year-old kids who are learning to live in. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Being a 18, 19-year-old with millions of dollars, hanging out with people, living a lifestyle that is, not real for 98% of the population, while learning to master your craft, that takes time. And when people are critical of these kids, I always remind them, like, when we're grooming a project manager, they don't just master their craft overnight. There's 4, 5, 6, 7 years before they're ever even able to manage a project on their own, and you're expecting somebody to step in and be the best at what they do within a year or two. I mean, those people come out and do what LeBron does. That's few and far between.
Very few. LeBron's one of the only people you've seen who've come out of high school. Kobe struggled. Other people struggled.
Yeah.
John Kemp took him a while. You can name people. It just took a long time. And this is why you read job descriptions and they make a qualification where they want so much experience before you can come in and do this job.
Yeah.
People don't think about that, though. Go ahead.
What player has been good coming out of the G League so far? Like, because you're saying
Jordan
Poole.
Jordan Poole's probably been
but he went to college. I'm saying like high school, G League, pro, where they
Jalen Green came out, right? I mean, he's decent. Doesn't really make all his shots, but he shoots the ball. He's talked about. G League is still kind of young. Kuminga spent time down there.
You're right.
Kuminga's a player that you could name.
Just curious.
That's a few.
I'm curious if the way to go is college right now.
But like this draft coming up, NBA talent is not in the tournament.
No,
it's not there. All those guys, if they didn't win a national championship, will coach or go overseas.
Yep. Brandon Miller, I would say. Alabama, Brandon Miller. I think he's going to
be a player.
Yeah.
He's probably the highest draft pick in college basketball right now. rest of these guys are going to come from someplace else. You got Wemby. You got the one guard that I can't think of his name right now. He's two guards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that people are talking about. There's going to be some guys from overseas that come in.
OTE has some guys too, I think, that are going to be in this year's draft. The Twins.
They do. Not a lot of people are talking about these. There are OTE cards out, right? I don't hear a lot of people talking about it.
Yep.
It's a play. I mean, the Twins, the Thompson brothers, they're like projected first round picks. And if you get some good cards of theirs, there's going to be a little spike in that.
Interesting. Gary talks about running backs: Fawcett, McCoy, Charles, LT, Alexander, my childhood fantasy football goats. This is a question. How long would it take you to get over getting punched in the face by a coworker?
Jordan Poole deserved it, Garrett. That's what he's getting at, Draymond.
How long would it take? Could you get over that?
I think Jordan
If
Poole.
if I got punched in the face at work, I probably did something to deserve it. So
Probably like Jordan Poole. Hate to say that.
Mm-hmm.
when my smart mouth got me in trouble.
I knew two
Garrett,
guys.
I hope you have a better day tomorrow, man. Hopefully I can beat up too bad at work.
Garrett's getting black eye. We're just making fun of it.
I knew two guys in college. One guy was shorter, was on the soccer team, worked out all the time, had a muscular build, but he was a shorter guy, probably around 5'4", 5'5". There was another guy who was taller, slender build, but I think he had this thing that because the guy was shorter than him, he could intimidate him. If they talk about something, he tell the guy, shut up, I don't want to hear that, and this, that, and the other. So one day, I should send them this story. One day, the shorter guy's talking, and we're all in like a living room area of a gentleman's apartment. And the taller guy jumps up and was telling him to be quiet. And I don't want to hear this. And had his hand in his face. And then he went to wrestle the guy just out of the blue. Went down. You never go down. I hope anybody out there listening to this. If I want to wrestle Manny, if I want to wrestle Jeremy, you never dip your head and go down. You just took yourself out of this situation. So he dips his head. This guy's a wrestler in high school. Very, very in very good shape, plays soccer, gets this guy in a headlock. And I mean, when he let him go, because I had to I personally let him know. You gotta let him go at some point. When he let him go, I mean, he had cut. It was like MMA match. This guy was out. He went face first into some couch cushions. We roll him over. He starts getting some air back in him. Those two guys, when they stood up and shook hands, had no more problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling that story. And I've been on a football team before where I've seen guys get into it, have no more problems after that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if other people have been in these kind of situations. But if I'm striving, if Jeremy hit me in the face, or Manny, you hit me in the face, and I said something or I did something, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not. But I would have no problem working on this end goal, which is a championship after that. I bet you I could get that done.
Yep.
Bet you I could get that done.
I pictured Jeremy at the National. So if Jeremy has me in a headlock at the National and I'm unconscious, just leave me be. Because I definitely said something to Jeremy, or we missed the card that we were supposed to buy. So I'm just going to point it out there. If Jeremy has me in a headlock, we're good. We're good.
I'm telling you. And like Garrett, I'm going to tell you, Garrett, you can laugh, but you never go down on a person. You never try to wrestle from a lower position like that and expose yourself. It's lights out. If anybody knows what they're doing, you're done.
Yeah.
It's the same way in football. Like any I would say contact sport, you're going to have a problem.
And Jordan Poole is a talker. He is a talker.
Yeah.
This is me. Everyone's gonna say that. The people that know me know I'm a Michigan State guy. I hate Michigan, so it's Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Michigan State type deal. But Jordan Poole wanted his contract, and he came off a hot year, and he's young, and he's probably talking crap to the old heads, which is Draymond and Draymond had to put him in his place. That's kind of what
Shaq said after they won a championship, all first and second year guys, the guys who had just came back from first year, all of them were walking around like you can't tell me anything. Who you talking to?
Yep.
I'm getting the like Pooh said, I'm getting the bag, and I got my jewelry. So what you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can all see that if there was you talking about if there was no Steph and Clay, where's Jordan Poole at? Could Jordan Poole lead a team? I'm not saying that. And it's interesting that his car prices have not just went up like that. I think other people are saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this year he'd come out definitely be an all-star. You're not doing that? We're like, what are you doing? Some games he has 45, some games he has 8, 12. Like tonight, what does he have?
He's always been like that too.
Jordan Poole has 5 points, 26 minutes, 1 for 8 shooting, 1 for 6 from the 3, 2 rebounds, 8 assists.
If he was not on a team with Steph and Clay, and he just went out and put up those numbers, he would not be a starter, and he would probably be pulled. But luckily, as a result of what Steph and Clay has done, he gets a little bit of leniency and he gets away with chucking up some bad shots.
That's true. And you also notice Kerr has put DiVincenzo in to play defense and set this guy down.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's sitting down now. Because I saw a couple of games where he's turning the ball over and the camera goes over to Kerr and Kerr just has this look. But he's just staring out into like, okay. Because Kerr tried to give this guy something where he's moved him into the starting lineup and set Looney down to try to get more of a spark. Let me see what you're going to do, man. Like, whatever.
You think Kerr had flashbacks when PTSD when he got hit, when Jordan Poole got hit?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, who leaked that tape? This is the thing today. Nobody was leaking the tape with Mike Jones. You think that practice wasn't recorded?
Yeah.
Nobody was leaking that. And
but to your point,
principle, Mike wanted to let Kerr know you don't run this team. You're just here. People fail to realize, I'm telling you, Shaq's rookie year, Scott Skiles was Shaq's starting point guard. Scott Skiles' backup was Steve Kerr. Coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Jordan probably thought to himself, bro, you're not coming up there. What are you talking about? You don't run anything here. Let me give you this 2-piece, and then you take that. Not saying it's right. Not condoning violence. I'm just telling you that in a locker room or in practice, I'll tell you all this story.
The Bulls grew closer as a result of Jordan punching Kerr. They did. They really did.
I'm saying when you get all that other stuff out of the way, most of the time people will become very close, and you'll see one take up for the other in certain situations. I've seen this. So I'm in high school. I'll tell you all this story. I'm in high school. I just transferred from one school to another school my senior year because my former school had cut out football, so I still want to play ball. So I leave. I go to another school. I'm in practice. This is probably the first 2 weeks of practice. They named me a captain. People didn't like that. People who have been there did not like this. This guy transfers in. He's a captain. We got problems with it. So one day we're in practice, and all 4 captains had a line in front of them of people on the team. And there's a guy over here in like the third row. He's turned around from the captains, and he's talking to people. He's kind of distracting them, and people are laughing. I'm like, so I asked him, hey, can you turn around? When I first said, hey, can you, I couldn't get any more out. He turned to me and cursed me out. Told me some things. And I can't tell you what sparked me, Manny and Jeremy. But when he started turning around to finish his conversation, now we're out there and our helmets are off. We have shoulder pads on and we have football pants on. So as soon as he started turning, I'm 17, 18 years old. I immediately started running at him top speed. I'm to tell you, I'm not playing with you. And when I got close to him, I put my shoulder pad probably where his back touches the rest of his body. And I ran through him. When I got up, I was probably 8 yards away from him. And I told him then at that point, get up, stretch, And if you have any other conversation besides stretching, this same thing is probably going to go down. Now, that individual was magnetized to me after that. I never had an issue with him. Whatever I asked him to do, he was doing it. I remember him correcting younger guys in practice who were not paying attention after that. I'm not saying that what I did was correct, but I'm telling you, when these things happen, sometimes in practice in a team setting, people become, all that other stuff just gets knocked right out. People become very, very close. He was a year after me when we left. I remember coming back to the school the next year to watch some games. He came straight up to me. He's like, what was going on? How you doing? We had no more issues.
He didn't want his back broke. That's what I want.
And I can't even tell you the decision-making process. I just thought what he said.
Oh,
we need to get this right today.
no, do not mess with FD if I want to walk.
I know. We're gonna be at National. FD's gonna ask a question. He's gonna be out truck sticking people.
I'm gonna sit back like.
I'm good, man. I'm good. That was an 18-year-old. And that's how Christopher Reeves became paralyzed. Wow. Wow. No. FD, you made it.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta get back to this team concept. That's all I said.
So all Manny took away is you just bully people into doing what you want.
Yeah,
you beat the crap out of them well enough, and they just succumb and they just do whatever
like
you want.
Jordan punching Kerr.
I know. FD's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna have a deal, and he's gonna be like, I'm paying this, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, you are. There's no negotiation.
No.
Will you take 50% of comps? Yes.
You talk about
I'm sorry, Mr. FD. I'm sorry, Mr. FD.
This is just after I got poked out by Jeremy.
Oh man.
Yeah, a long time ago, people. Long time ago.
FD was the original. Do you remember what was his name? Terry Tate, office linebacker?
Oh yeah, remember that? Yeah. You know what's funny? So I'm in grad school when that's out, right? And
oh my god, did he just beat the hell out of somebody else?
We filmed a video while I was the office linebacker. People were asking for TPS reports. I was like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, that did go.
And I love they would show the guy throwing the garbage in the recycling bin and Terry Tate's there.
He's just looking at him. He's like, no.
Man, I feel bad for the interns and the producers at the Rolling with FD studio. It's just FD just shoulder checking people. It's just so...
Hey, man, true but funny story. True story. I was shocked when I asked him, hey, can you just turn around and stretch? And he turned around and told me something. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's all good.
I'm going to see him at Nashville and be like this.
We got to stretch out. He's the end of our aisle. We just start stretching out.
Every time he looks, man, he's 6, 7, 8, 9.
What did the coach say, Zerny? Not a word. Not a word.
Yeah, because what he didn't tell you in the locker room, the coach looked at FD the wrong way and he put him through a locker.
I'll tell you another funny story from college. So when you get to college, right? It's another funny story, man. You're going to love this. When you get to school, the freshmen are always hazed, right? You're always told to do stuff, do with this, that, and the other. We had a thing where the freshmen had to get up and perform some skits. You're always hazed at a team meeting. So we get to practice one day. I've told this story to my family, so I hit them out there laughing. They already know this. So we get to practice one day. So my coach, this sparked the story. My head coach was standing right next to me. So we get to practice one day, and there's a junior over here stretching, and he tells me, hey, FD, you need to get some blocking pads and stuff out of the shed and have them out here. Like, why aren't you doing it? Right? So I turn to him, and I tell him some things. I tell him, hey, I didn't come here to pick up pads. I'm not get your ass up and pick up some pads. I tell him a few things. And my coach cracks up laughing and says, that's what I would have told him too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this whole hazing thing, if anybody knows me, like April's out there laughing right now. If anybody knows me, this whole hazing thing is not going to work. Doesn't work. So
That's how sports is, though. That's how it is. The coach loves it too. Like you said, I played soccer. And I was a center back, and I'm 6'1", like two. I was 210 at the time,
Okay.
and we were practicing with the JV team. And this drill is he kicks it to the sideline, and I come and defend, and they try to cross it. Well, I was a little bully. I was the center back, so you kind of have that mentality of like you're hitting the striker and everything.
Mhm.
The coach, my friend told me this after, but he's like, watch this. He tells my friend, watch this. It's me with the JV guy. Hits it, so I get there at the same time as the kid, and I just shoulder bump him, and he flew. And my coach was dying laughing because he set him up. And he comes back and he's like, that's what varsity like center back's going to do to you. So get prepared. So they prepare you for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to love in college too. I'm just telling you a story because we're talking right now. I love this when we start doing this. I remember in college, I'm a freshman, and so you're playing 7-on-7, right? And so you have a junior or senior linebacker on a play where we're just walking through, going full speed. So imagine you're 18 years old. You just got here. You're in camp. You've probably been here a week and a half, and you're stepping through. And I remember a linebacker coming downhill on a play like it was a playoff game, just ripped right through me. And so then the coach is yelling at me. He's like, "Hey, FD, what are you doing? You got to do this. You got to do that." So I asked the coach, "Can you run that play again? Can you please run the exact same play?" He said, "Well, you heard him. Let's run the exact same play." So we run the exact same play. Some people are walking through. When that linebacker came to come down here, I destroyed him. I destroyed that guy. And then he asked me, why are you playing so tough? I said, next time you'll remember that. You ask yourself that question. Why are you playing so tough?
Oh.
And it's nothing like going to school and being 18 years old and playing against people that are 21, 22, maybe even 23. There's a difference there. There's a difference in physicality.
Yes.
And how that thing goes down. So sometimes you got to teach the juniors and the seniors what the deal is.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Look at Jeremy. What's your school story?
You know, you just go around and beat the crap out of people, and you force them into doing stuff you don't want. You know, the cash register tried charging me $2.99 for a gallon of milk. I said, you know, I roll with FD. I'll be damned if I'm doing that. You better give me that preferred card. Told that assistant manager, let's run it back. Have him swipe that gallon of milk one more time. We'll see if we get it right.
You heard him.
They never charged $2.99 a gallon of milk ever again.
But how do you do that to young kids, man? You try to embarrass young kids when they show up? I don't know. And that's how Stephen Hawking became Barrel.
Jesus, good man.
Garrett's.
Wow.
Man, the Thicc is running wild in the comments.
I know.
That's crazy.
FD, you're not ready for the Thicc. That's
Yeah, he's going, wow. Garrett.
Oh.
So where are you all going next? Like, what shows are you going to, or where are you traveling to?
We've got Lansing this week, and then actually this weekend, and then a week from tomorrow, I leave for Vegas. We'll be in Vegas 8 days, 8 nights for a little vacation and mint.
The Mint Collective.
Yep.
Should be a very good time. I went last year. Did you all go last year?
I did. He didn't.
Yeah, I was doing Shipshawana. We were originally supposed to go, and then because of COVID,
Oh yeah, they changed the date.
the mint was actually they changed the dates. We already committed somewhere else.
Manny, I missed you, man.
I know. That was the time where I was doing content with Cage, so I was behind Cage.
I saw Cage.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, you probably did. Yeah.
I saw Cage walking around.
Mm-hmm. Did you end up going to that party where Paul Pearson, he announced Paul Pierce?
No, I did not go to that party that night. I was somewhere else at dinner or doing something, and I remember seeing that on Instagram.
Yep.
Paul Pierce was there.
Yeah, it was fun. Good time.
Jay, what's up? Good to have you here.
Will you be at it?
I was going to go, and then last night we started talking about some other stuff that we have to do, so I won't be able to be there.
Oh. finally get to. I was excited to get to meet you in person.
Do you come to the? I know Jeremy was out here in LA, but Manny, do you come to the West Coast?
I haven't. The only show I've been to was Mint so far. I want to make my way to Burbank and everything.
Yeah, you should come to Burbank in September, end of August.
I'm gonna have to. I might pack in with Jeremy. He's gonna be his.
Let's go. Let's go.
I know, Jeremy, you're coming to Burbank in September, August.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'd be my first time meeting Jeremy too. I haven't met him yet in person.
Me and FD are just gonna go lay people out, man. It's just gonna be like.
It might be bad.
It's gonna take out some aggression, man. All those hugs I didn't get as a kid, I'm taking it out on somebody.
The West Coast isn't ready to do with Jeremy.
You know, it's always interesting because I remember when I first met April, I used to tell her some stories from sports, and she would be sitting there looking like, "That really happened?" Like, yeah, yeah, that really happens. There's many stories.
Yeah. So if I'm at Burbank and I see you, I'm on an aisle, the middle aisle, and I see you on one side and see Jeremy on the other side, I better get out the way.
Dude, we should make a video.
Yes. Courtney can set up the TikTok. I suspect that FD is very similar to me, that when he gets angry, he doesn't get loud, just gets very quiet. Maybe jaw gets clenched.
I do get very quiet.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're just going to see that menacing man over there just ready just to unleash on somebody. So I'm looking forward to it, man. They're gonna come back to this day where it was like the hobby went downhill because these three knuckleheads got together.
We can play the clip.
And we chose violence.
That's how this all started. But see, these are the things, and I tell people this all the time, is that like when you walk away from a sport like that, like football is a little bit of mini war for 3 hours, right? So when you walk away from that, I think that's why a lot of these players have issues. You got to turn that off. You're a pedestrian now.
Yep.
So when I walk around now, I don't, it's nothing like that. But I remember playing, and especially when you're on the field. Like I remember being in the game. I can tell you another story. I can remember being in the game. We start the game. Defensive tackle is taller than me. He's probably about 6'6", and I'm blocking him well. And so this guy starts throwing punches and hitting me in the ribs, right under where your shoulder pads in. I'm blown. I'm like, we just started the game. Like, what's up with you, man? What's going on? I mean, there are many, many stories of weird, and I can only imagine guys who play at bigger schools and guys who play in the NFL. There are weird stories of different things that are happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying, like I can't tell the sideline. And my coach is like, "Why are you looking like that?" I said, "This guy's out here throwing punches." Then we talked about that on the sideline. Then I went back in and had a conversation with the guy.
You told him not to turn around.
Oh, well,
don't expose your back.
I had a conversation with. I don't want to share that story because Gary's going to say, "Oh wow, that's how." Yeah. But we had a conversation. It didn't happen the rest of the game. This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets a new. Yeah. National table and chairs match. Are y'all going to the national?
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll
definitely
meet up. We'll do some stuff.
Yeah.
Jason, I watched Thicc's video recap of the Burbank Car Show. Appreciate the positive feedback. Using that intel to prepare for Anaheim.
That little beef that happened on the basketball court with the two guys throwing the basketball, it's going to be a lot different when me and FD get on the football field.
Yeah. You might wipe some other people out. Some innocent vice wiped out.
And there goes the Fanatics money.
Funny. When I started telling that story about what the guy said that he turned around, both of you all's faces were like, true story. True story.
Well, I was just quickly evaluating, like, because I cut you off and I thanked you for being on the Too Thick pod, and I'm like, that was probably a mistake. Probably not something you want to do with FD. He's going to harbor that animosity, and he's going to come after me. But it's okay.
If he comes after you, I'm coming after you. So you be prepared.
It was a different day and time, man. It's there are certain things though when you think back on it, you be like, man, that happened, and somebody else's on the team reaction may have been like this. It's like, wow, football is just a different sport. I've talked to some basketball players the same way. There's some things that happen in the locker room. So when you talk about this Draymond, what kicked this all off is talking about Draymond Green. I hope they can get past that. I think I could. I played with some people. I was telling the story because we got past that. We never had any other issues at all about anything. And winner takes the belt and a briefcase of national treasures. And that would be a competition, George.
Yeah, it would. I'll try. I'm not gonna win it, but I'll be in there.
Hey,
Manny, I feel like you'd be really good, like with the brass knuckles and your BVDs. You have them like tucked in your come get me's, throwing baby powder in people's eyes, giving low blows. You seem like a dirtbag like that.
I do fight dirty.
Well, he's got you fighting real dirty, man.
Yeah, I'll bring baby powder. I'll blow it in the face and go after someone.
Spitting the green mist in somebody's face, like.
Yeah. You know what I love about podcasts that you never know. You're an hour and 40 minutes in. You never know what you might be talking about.
I don't even think we talked about just abusing innocent people.
Well, somewhat innocent. When you step in a circle and you have certain things to say, then you don't become.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. You know, I appreciate having you all on here. It's been a good time.
Oh yeah, it has.
We look forward to having you on. It's a pleasure. We really love what you're doing. We sincerely appreciate these open, candid conversations. I think there needs to be more of that. And we too agree, like, who would have ever thought that this is where the conversation would have ended? I feel like we're closer as a result.
I love to have just open conversations. Like I always send questions that have a prompt. But I love when we just start talking to each other as if we were sitting in the same room, just talking.
Mm-hmm.
Manny'd be laid out if we were in the same room. Let's not get it twisted.
We got Mr. Duran here, but Nate, I want to let you know, bomb card, man. I appreciate you. That's who I got the card from.
Nice.
That's nice.
Dope card.
Well, it's been a blast having you all on. We'll make sure that we cut up some of these sport talk clips and make sure we share them with folks. But it's been a blast having you all on. April, I always give kudos to April. She told me a while ago, like, you need to have Thicc on and talk to them. And
shout out April.
Shout out April.
It's always a good time. It's always good having you on. But I'll look forward to seeing y'all at Burbank, and then we'll see each other at the National.
The National, yep.
Amen.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Before y'all go, we always do this to shake up the intro. So I'll ask you all who you're rolling with.
You know, me and Courtney said we were rolling with FD, and I didn't see that damn thing in the intro. Don't lie to me, FD. Don't lie to me. You're not going to bully me. You're not going to shoulder check me into pretending that I'm going to be in the intro. I swear, if I do this, if I give you the lows of rolling with FD, I better see me in there twice.
We got you, Jeremy.
All right.
Jeremy's been watching. No, we got.
Oh, what?
Jeremy, are you good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's go. Let's let the people know something.
All right, Manny and Jeremy, who you rolling with?
We're rolling with FD. We don't want to get our asses kicked.
Oh boy,
Sweaty.
Man, you all cracked me up, man. This says that's going to FD's PC, not for the public. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you all, man.
Appreciate you. No. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Y'all
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
See ya.